Quran in both the Arabic and English. And in it, he has a very interesting argument about the numerology of the number 19 that is found in the Quran. And he's going to discuss with us why that number 19 is so important and why it's a number that links the three religions, the Judeo-Christian, Muslim traditions, which, as many of us understand, represents the people of the book. So, Shakir, please, thank you for joining us, and you're also with your son, Benjamin. Hello, gentlemen.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, how you doing? God bless.
Yeah,
Very good.
Yes.
So I want to start, Doctor, by asking, so how did you, first of all, come to this understanding of the number 19 in the Quran, having an importance in the Quran?
Let me say first, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Peace be upon all of you. Yes, I started this research when I was very young in age, in the early 60s. I came to this country in 1962, and I kept, doing the research, which about number 19. I myself, a principal of school, I was in Lebanon, and I used to read in the Holy Quran, and I came to Surah or chapter 74, and I was fascinated in this chapter. And in verse, let me make it short, in verse number 30, it says clearly on it are 19, and it's written the word 19, as we say in the Arabic language, tis'ata ashar. I was fascinated, and then, I said, what this number has to do, with the Holy Quran. And I looked at the first verse and the first surah, first chapter, which it says in Arabic, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, which is in the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I counted the letters, and surprisingly for me, the number was 19 letters. And since then, I start looking for 19, where when I read a verse or, and I count. And after, I found so many miracles of 19, I put them all together in this book, Mysterious 19. For example, let me show you the verse Bism. It's written with 3 letters, B, S, M. The Arabic language, we spell with phonics. If someone is really knows Arabic, reading, writing, grammar, he won't make mistakes in spelling at all. So the word Bism means with the name, Now, the B is with, and the name, one letter was omitted, is not there, and left with 2 letters, the S, and the M. And since the revelation, this stayed the same, even if the spelling is wrong. See? Now, I was wondering why. And since the revelation 1400 years ago up to now, no one dared, to correct the spelling. Then I came to my mind, okay, let me look in the Quran to see the word, ism, how it's written. I found the correct spelling, ASM, is spelled the correct way in 19 surah or 19 chapters. That was amazing. Now, then,
What do you say?
yes,
You're saying that it was spelled the right way, but it was intentionally spelled the wrong way so that the number of letters on that line would reach 19?
exactly. And
So it was intentionally misspelled so that so that 19 would be there on that, basically the numbers of letters in that line.
Correct. Correct. It was spelled intentionally wrong, so you can count the verse 19 letters.
Mm-hmm. But obviously the author knew how to spell bism because it was properly spelled most of the time, right?
Yes, this phrase, this verse, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, is the title of 114 chapters in the Quran. Only one chapter has no title, which is chapter 9. So there is two basmalat, two basmalat in another chapter, which is chapter 27. Now, purposely is done from chapter 9 to chapter 27. There are 19 chapters. Now, chapter 27 is a chapter, we call it Al-Naml, which is the ants. And the title is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and also in the middle of the surah, which is verse number 30, it says, وَمِن سُلَيْمَانَ Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So the number of the basmalat, all of them, there are 114 basmala in the whole Holy Quran, which is multiple of 19. So if we multiply 19 times 6, we come with 114.
Right.
Yes. So I gathered all these in the first book, Mysterious 19. Now, I start asking myself, okay, now we know the Quran is a mysterious, is a miraculous book. 19 is mysterious number, which is, support the Quran is a miraculous. Okay, but what is the purpose? And I start, thinking, I said, okay, let me read again, chapter 74. I read it many times, and then I read number 30, verse number 30, which is alayha tis'ata ashar.
What's the chapter called? Al-Muddathir?
Al-Muddathir, you're right.
And what's that mean?
Al-Muddathir means the wrapped in silence. Wrapped with something and wrapped in silence. Because when the Prophet Muhammad was meditating in a cave, it seems, at that time, maybe it was cold, and he was wrapped with a blanket or with a garment, or, and the voice came to him, Surah Al-Alaq, read. The first time it tells him, to read. Okay, and the Prophet Muhammad.
This is when the Archangel Gabriel basically begins to transmit the Quran to Muhammad, right? He's been in the cave in meditation. He's an illiterate man, and that's why it's always been considered a miraculous book, the Quran.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Okay, I will continue then, the purpose now of all these miracles. If anyone, likes to verify all these miracles, can go online, um, circleofgod.com, and read the book free. I have it, online, all the miracles in this book. Okay.
But what do you mean by miracle? Because having the letters of a line equal the number 19, for example, that's not necessarily a miracle. That just requires a certain level of awareness when you're writing. How do you mean by miracles?
Okay.
Well,
All right.
the number of letters, verses, chapters are all multiples of 19.
Yes. All the even the number of the letters in the whole Quran, see, are multiples of 19. Yeah, please take it. Okay. So this is okay. Circle of God. I came up with circle of God. Now, God is in the middle of the circle. God is in the middle of the universe then. So when God is in the middle of the universe, his existence is everywhere in the universe because of the rays comes out of the center. And then for us as a human, God made us some foundation. The first foundation for humankind is the first two, Adam and Eve, as from one soul, number one, and Noah is number two, and Abraham is number three. And then God, made another.
God's number one, Adam's number two,
Yes, yeah,
Noah's number three,
yes,
Abraham's four.
yes.
The
as
first
I know.
triangle is Adam,
Yes,
Noah, and Abraham.
exactly, as you see it, in circle of God. And then
Right.
yes,
That's the triangle with the circle in the center, essentially.
yes,
God in the center,
God is in
always
the
And then
showing up.
And then the second triangle on the cover of the book, you have Messiah, Jesus,
yes,
Muhammad,
Moses,
right.
Moses,
the three patriarchs.
Messiah, and Muhammad. Three M's. MMM. Moses, Messiah, Muhammad.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, so there are seven now. Number one is God, and the Prophet Muhammad is number seven. And then before Moses, there were, the seven head of tribes.
12 head of tribes.
Yes, the 12 head of tribes. Yes, and during the presence of the Messiah were 12 apostles, and after the Prophet Muhammad were 12 imams, and the first imam is Ali. Okay. Now, if you add 7 plus 12 is 19. 7 plus 12, 19. 7 plus 12, 19. There are 3 19s on the circle. On it are 19, as exactly what the verse number 30 indicated.
Right, because you're saying that the seven being God in the center, with Adam, Noah, and Abraham being the original three,
Yes.
and the three patriarchs of the religions, the Messiah, Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses. That makes seven, and they pertain to all three of the people of the book. So that when you have then the 12 disciples of Jesus, the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 12 imams of Islam, 12 plus those original 7 that applies to all of them equals 19, applying to all the religion,
Yes.
right? To all the peoples of the book.
Yes, exactly.
Side note, one of the greatest miracles, Jesus had his apostles and the people respond to him, asking how many people did I feed when he totally fed 9,000? How many people did I feed when I fed the 5,000? How many basketfuls did we have when he created this miracle? They responded 12. And then when he fed the rest of the 9,000, he said, and how many more basketfuls did we have when we created that second miracle? And they responded 7. And this is cited in the Bible. You can Google the information, it comes up.
Right. So 12 and 7 being 19. So then, but if 19 is this divine number, right? What is the meaning? Because right now it's still it's a mysterious number,
Yes.
you're saying.
Yes, 19, as we know, as a human being, that God put in our brain the counting numbers from 1 to 9. And as we know, this set is from 1 to 9. One set from 1 to 9. And then we have the 0, which is called cipher. And cipher was introduced in the Middle Ages, by the Arabs. Cipher, you call it cipher in Arabic, which makes it easy, to continue in counting and adding and subtracting and getting into deep in math. Now, without these numbers, we have no technology. Thanks to God, He planted in our brain these numbers. Okay, so we can work, and that's how we say, from 1 to 9, you bring them together is 19. That's how I think. See, is a miraculous number. So all the Holy Quran is based, and the Holy Quran is teaching us, to believe in God. Okay, to those they love God, to love each other. That's why I believe in Circle of God, that the done purposely, and I call it miracles from God, because God put in the brain of these prophets to to do what is called 19, the 12 head of tribes. Why 12? Why not 11? Why is not 13, 14, and so on? Only 12 head of tribes. Okay, I didn't do it. See, God did it. Okay, and the same thing with Adam and Eve, from one soul. See, like I say, a coin has 2 sides. It's still one cone, right? So if right side or left side, doesn't matter, still one cone. And that's what God said, from one soul. Okay, now, so Adam and Eve, see, as one. Okay, God is number 1. And as I indicated before about the circle, that Prophet Muhammad is number 7. So, and then the saints are very important too. The 7 head of tribes, the 12 head of tribes are saints. And as the apostles are saints, 12 apostles, saints, and as also the imams after the Prophet Muhammad, there were 12 imams.
Right. But,
Yes.
yeah.
Which is
Essentially, you're talking about the number, of course, 19.
Yes.
But it's more applicable in terms of the Quran. The coding of the Quran, as you point out in the book, is all about this 19 being basically a derivative number or multiple of a lot of the chapters and verses.
Yes.
But and I know this from the Sufi tradition too in Islam. There are 19 degrees in the mystical Sufi sects. In a certain way, though, we are surrounded by numerologies. 7 is a divine number, and right, 7 heavens. As you mentioned, the seven sort of the 6 patriarchs around the one God. That's 7. Yes. The number 3 being the Trinity. Yes. But still, if 19 is a set indicating 1 to 9, right? Which is the set of existence of creation, as Pythagoras talks about. All creation, all existence is number, right? Everything can be broken down into numbers. But how does the number 19 get us to this notion of the unity of the religions, or the unity of mankind?
Yes, because the followers of Moses, they believe in God. The followers of Jesus, they believe in God, and the followers of Muhammad, they believe in God.
The same God, yes.
The same God. If the 3 of them, they believe in the same God, they must, they must respect each other and recognize each other as God's lovers. We love God. Now,
that's actually a Sufi saying. Yeah. There's the lover, the loved. The lover, the beloved, and love itself.
Yes.
Which connects them, right? This is all of existence is predicated on love. Yes. This is very much indicated within the more mystical traditions, but it's not necessarily accepted by a lot of people who are orthodox or trying to basically see the letter of the law being different between the different books. They're trying to basically pick apart the differences to create tension and conflict. But I think that within the essence of it, we all understand that we are created by the same source.
Yes. The 3 is very important. See, there are 3 lines. 3 lines. Each line goes all the way to God.
Mm-hmm. The Trinity.
Yeah, Trinity.
And
yes.
Yeah.
You can kind of look at it like the completion of the prophecy to this day. Kind of like 12 headed tribes that came before Moses.
Yes, before.
So that's past.
Yeah.
And then Jesus, with the authority of God, the Messiah, he picked 12 apostles.
Yes.
Presently. And then to descend from the Prophet Muhammad, the last prophet, are 12 imams to come to the future, that came past, present, future, the completion. And these are spirits that are, on this planet, that, from the heavens. And peace with all of them.
But in terms of, for example, we look at numerology and we see, for example, the number 33 quite oftentimes depicted because it's a Masonic number or a sign of so-called illumination, right? Do you see this number 19 deployed in places that would represent this miraculous number? Because oftentimes we've seen the number 19 actually get reversed. For example, 9/11 is actually a reversal of the 19. They were so-called 19 terrorists, according to the official narrative, right, that crashed into the towers. So it's interesting how the number 19 perhaps is being deployed to in a negative connotation or for negative actions, or almost in the opposite of the miraculous 19 you speak of.
Maybe we can talk about that in a little.
Yeah, may I speak about it?
You should talk about maybe the numbers, like the letters of power. Yeah. And aspects of 19 in the Quran, the chromosomes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I will talk about the chromosome. I mentioned, I put it in my book. You will see it in my book about the chromosome 19. This is the chromosome 19. This research was done by scientists in United States in 2004. Okay, April 1, 2004 edition of the journal Nature. So explained about chromosome 19. So God created us, the first thing in the Quran said, God created us from hooks, which means chromosomes. There are, I taught, biology in the past, long time ago. And the cell, our cells, because we are made of trillions of cells. Each cell contains 46 chromosomes. Now, in the beginning, the human cell from the sperm is 23 chromosomes, and the egg, female egg, from the female egg is 23. They fertilize and start, the beginning of a human being, which is you and me, and every human being starts with 46 chromosomes. And this chromosome 19, okay, during, this century was discovered 19 is the most effective, chromosome of all, and they say, is larger, and more research will be done about this chromosome 19 for a human, to help overcome diseases like, like heart disease and diabetes and what so on, many diseases. So 19 exists in not only, in Circle of God, also in nature, like, the bee, beehive, the beehive. Each what you call it, musaddas, from where the bee put the honey, consists of 19 circles. Okay, so
and in the hive itself, or within the smaller
the small, the small one. See, it's a hexagon. They look hexagons. If you count them,
the hexagon is, well,
Fit
going back
19
to
perfect
the
circles
original
inside of the
Yeah.
hexagon.
image on the cover of the book, if you actually have the trinity of the three, the triangle,
Yeah.
and then the three prophets, actually creates a hexagon. That's 6 is a hexagon. So
yes,
the hexagon shape is actually one of the most one of the best ways of organizing. For example, like beehives organize that way around hexagons. Snowflakes are a very coherent state of existence. Yeah. Snowflakes are hexagons as well. Yeah. So you're saying that the 6-sided shape fits into 19 what in the beehive?
19 circles. Really, there are 19 circles. 19 circles in the hexagon. If you put, start with 3 circles, then 4 circles, then 5 circles, and then you go down to 4, you go down to 3, and you make a hexagon.
I see. That's 19, yes.
Yes, they are 19. This is
so it's basically indicating a tremendous coherence to the universe.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what, more than anything, the point of this is that, trying to indicate there is a divine mind behind it. There is a consciousness that is self-organizing them. This is not just a random universe of random mutations, and consciousness is something it's a random mutation. It's actually designed and inherent to God's structure.
Exactly. Even the hand, there are 19 bones in the hand. See, I'm talking about something in nature, and we maybe other people found many things from nature based on 19 too. See,
Right.
You can search it, but my main thing is my most interesting and all my life is for circle of God. God wants these three major religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, to be in one circle, to love each other. That's what we need. This is the beginning. See, we are not in the Middle Ages. Now you see me, I see you. This technology without these numbers didn't exist at all. So numbers are from God, you see, and this miracle is for the non-speaking or knowing the Arabic language. You see, not all people on earth knows Arabic. Okay, we have billions. Okay, of people, they don't know Arabic. They don't know, how to read it or to write it. Therefore, for this reason, God, wants us to look, at the miraculous number 19 in circle of God. So people on earth, all people on earth know, numbers. Numbers becomes international language.
Well, it's the universal language, really, and that's back again to the Pythagorean's mysteries of, the universe communicates through synchronicity and signs and numbers.
Yes.
So
another thing I want to add one thing.
This message to be sent, though, now, that message of unity of the three religions, especially at this time when we have so much conflict being generated in the Middle East.
Exactly.
Whether it's sectarian, whether it's violence against, between Muslims and Christians or Muslims and Jews, it's very much designed against the principle, the true principle of these people in the book.
God wants mankind to heighten their awareness. For instance, you can take the Quran and find the 12 Imams in there. Imam is mentioned 12 times in the Quran. I'd like to mention that the 12-headed tribes is mentioned in the Quran, Surah Jacob. I'd like to mention that the apostles are mentioned in the Quran, in the feast. So it's to get the mind working, to get the spirit evoked, to know that the Quran has all the information in the universe. You just have to look and interpret this with peace. For instance, the thief that steals, a person that might take something. God doesn't mean to cut off the thief's hand to fix the social issue that's going on in society that creates a person to steal. Who's to blame? Is it the person that's stealing, or is it the environment that he's in? So we need to get these thoughts going, because ultimately Islam is peace. Always peace.
Islam is submission. That's all it means. It means submission to God's will.
Yeah.
So in that state, when you submit yourself, you should be in a state of peace.
Yes, exactly. When you submit yourself, you are in peace. And let me, God, the Creator, the great, He is so great. Our imagination cannot really, see how great He is. We are His creatures. He created us, and He put in us, from His Spirit. So God is great. It's not, just we see Him in His creation. I always say to my children, look, when when you look at God's creation, anything, you will say, Subhanallah, it's perfect. But when you see what we create, like if I make a table, if I make a house, or we'll say it's beautiful, but we can do it better. See, you know, we are the product of God. God gave us, yes, as a human, to be, above even the angels. But in the same time, God told us, if we don't be above the angels, at least be in the middle. Don't go below. Don't go, because some, if they say, if you do really killing, or it says in the Quran, if you kill one man, like you killed all the humans. See, so God wants us to live side by side, by each other, in peace and loving God. When we love God, you say you love God, I love God, means we should love each other too.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the connection, of course, because we are all created from the same source.
Yes.
So I think that's a powerful message to end with. And I want to thank you for your work. And people can go to circleofgod.com,
yes,
right, to see more of it, because a lot of this is mathematical, and the work that you put in is to decode and look and find this connection of 19, right, throughout the Quran. So showing, again, a higher wisdom, a higher intelligence that was communicated to the Prophet when he wrote this.
Thank you.
You guys, if you can make that out, those are some links.
Yeah, we'll put it on the website.
And
we'll put it on the YouTube.
If you want to talk more, we can talk more about the evidence 19 and numerology within the Roman numerals of XIX. You can talk about the aliens if you want to talk about the Masonic sects. If you want to talk about Gate 19 being at the Kaaba, being at Medina, which belongs to Ali. If you want to talk about what Yahweh, God, and Allah come from, and taking those words and getting the true interpretation, the fingerprints, the separation of the water at the Gulf of Alaska, where they don't mix, that was mentioned in the Holy Quran. We can talk about this life being a trial, that the aliens that they show in Hollywood is not real. Aliens are trillions of years far advanced more than us, and the technology they have is for us to see if we can go and bestow with them. Basically, our life is a trial and we need to do good. Now, if you can take that complications and that complex that I just said and take it as simple as Italy, looking like a boot, and finding ourselves here in Michigan, where Dearborn's the 19th district, the biggest population of Shias outside of the Middle East. We can go on and talk about all the messages that they have put inside of the movies, hiding 19, and the evidence that this brings to the world. You still there, Sean?
Yeah, the thing, we just don't have time for all these topics.
Let me talk about.
So
hold on. Let me talk. It'll take me just a few minutes.
Okay.
Subhanallah. You're
let's
saying
just boil,
about
let's just boil it down
9/11.
to this, because there's like a lot of topic. Let's just boil it down to this. The numerology of 19, Ben, I think you're more astute to it because you've grown up with your father, seeing, basically being awakened to it at a young age. So you've seen it. And what is your takeaway from that number? What does it mean? What's its meaning to you?
I would like to say that time bends to the spirit. As the Messiah knew he was the spirit, as Prophet Muhammad knew he was the last prophet from God. 9/11, you were speaking about, that is a multiple of 19 by 2 times. Now, why would they set that to make that operation on the number 19 when they know that the number 19 proves without a doubt the evidence of a book sent to mankind? Because they want to try to disinform the people when it's clear. They create all these bad terrorisms. People on their own accord. It doesn't matter if they're Arab, Chinese, black, white, any ethnicity, and they take something and make it bad. That's on their accord. They need to be conquering with their mind to submit, like you said, in peace. We need a worldwide peace treaty with all the countries in the world. The trillions of debt that this world has accumulated, almost 20 in this country, that debt is that the governments are in debt to the people. That's how much they need to pay back all the people. All the necessities should be given to mankind: food, water, shelter, education, and opportunity. It's in there in the research. I mean, if you research 19 and see The Dark Tower by Stephen King, he wrote hundreds of books, and he says all his work accumulates to The Dark Tower, and his intro to these books is on being 19. Jonas the Giver recently just came out in the movies. They changed Jonas's number in the movies. Maybe they don't want it to be evident, but his number was 19 as the giver. They skipped over his number, and they didn't want the people to see.
What does that mean, his number was 19?
His number was 19 in the community, meaning everybody in the community is given a number that will accord to their job, to their community, and his number was 19 in the book. In the movie, they happen to change it. It goes on and on, like MDCCLXXVI on the bottom of the pyramid. If you add those letters up, it equals 114, which is how many surahs are in the Quran. 114, if you take the year you were born, 84, you subtract that and you get 30. That's probably your age. Same with me, 85, you subtract that, I get 29. So in this year, 2014, which is a multiple of 19 by 106, the surahs of the Quran will mirror every human on this planet. SubhanAllah, God is great. It's been over 1,300 years that there is no dialogue spoken in 1,300 years. In 1,300 years, the information is now given to mankind. I don't know why it's been hidden, why the opportunity hasn't come, but God bless Buzzsaw, and Sean, thank you and all of you, because this information is the sacred information. It bends time. It literally will bend time. And we want to bring peace and kindness to the entire world, hoping the governments can come up with technology that disables weapons and guns with some sort of frequency, because we don't need any more killing. We don't need any more hurt. We want people to unite. And it's known to mankind now. And bro,
I think that's the point. So thank you guys for joining us. And obviously, we'll direct people to circleofgod.com, and we definitely look forward to hearing more.